There are decisions you think you are making because you want to, but sometimes you are making them because of a feeling you don't want to experience. You don't stay in that relationship because you are happy. You stay because you are afraid of being alone. You don't keep avoiding that conversation because it's unnecessary. You avoid it because you are afraid of rejection, conflict, or what the other person might say. You don't always procrastinate because you are lazy. Sometimes you are avoiding the feeling of discovering that you are not as good at something as you hope. And that's the strange thing about emotions. The feelings you refuse to deal with don't disappear, they just start making decisions for you. We usually think our lives are controlled by our choices, and technically they are. But underneath many of those choices are feelings we haven't really dealt with. Fear, shame, loneliness, insecurity, anger, grief, even the fear of disappointing people. And because these feelings can be uncomfortable, we find ways to escape them. We keep ourselves busy, we scroll, we joke about things that actually hurt, we stay around people we don't even enjoy anymore. We convince ourselves it's not that serious, but eventually avoidance becomes a lifestyle, and you may not even realize that you are organizing your life around what you don't want to feel. Take rejection. Maybe you've wanted to ask someone out, or apply for a job, or start something you've been thinking about for months, but you keep finding reasons not to do it. The timing isn't right. I need to prepare a little more. I'll do it next month. Sometimes those reasons are legitimate, but sometimes the real issue is much simpler. You don't want to hear no, because no isn't just a word. For some people, it feels like confirmation. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe they don't value me. Maybe I was foolish for trying. So instead of experiencing rejection, you choose something that feels safer. You don't ask, you don't apply, you don't try, and technically you haven't failed, but you've also allowed the fear of rejection to make the decision for you. Then there is loneliness. This one affects more decisions than people realize. You know that friends you keep around even though every conversation leaves you drained, or that relationship you know isn't healthy, but you can't imagine what your life would feel like without that person. Sometimes you are not holding on to them because the relationship is good. You are holding on because empty space feels worse. And this is where loneliness becomes dangerous, because when you are desperate not to feel alone, you will sometimes accept things you wouldn't normally accept. Disrespect, inconsistency, being someone's second choice, being contacted only when they need something. You tell yourself, at least I have somebody, and that's understandable. Nobody enjoys loneliness, but avoiding loneliness at all costs can keep you connected to people who are making you lonelier. Then there is shame. Shame is different from simply knowing you made a mistake. It's the feeling that says, maybe there's something wrong with me. And when people carry that feeling, they often build their lives around proving themselves. You might constantly need to look successful. You might exaggerate your achievements. You might become extremely defensive whenever someone criticizes you. You might even struggle to admit when you don't know something. Not because you are arrogant, but because admitting weakness touches something deeper. What if people discover I'm not who they think I am? So you protect the image, and eventually maintaining the image becomes more exhausting than actually dealing with the insecurity. And sometimes the feeling you're avoiding isn't fear, it is hurt. Maybe someone disappointed you years ago, and instead of processing it, you became emotionally distant. Now whenever someone gets close, you pull away. You call it being independent. I don't need anybody. Or maybe you learn that depending on people gives them the opportunity to disappoint you, so you stopped expecting anything from anyone. The problem is, protecting yourself from disappointment can also protect you from genuine connection. You don't just build walls between yourself and the people who might hurt you. You also build walls between yourself and the people who might actually care about you. So, what do you actually do with these feelings? Not everything needs a dramatic transformation. Start smaller. The next time you make a decision, ask yourself, what am I actually trying to avoid feeling? Before you say, I don't care, ask, do I really not care? Or would caring make me vulnerable? Before you say, I'm just busy, ask, am I actually busy? Or am I avoiding something uncomfortable? Before you stay in a situation because it's complicated, ask, what would I have to feel if I finally walked away? You don't have to immediately fix the feeling. Sometimes just being honest about what you are feeling is the first step, because you can't make a healthy decision about something you are not willing to acknowledge. The goal isn't to become someone who never feels afraid, lonely, insecure, angry, or hurt. That's not realistic. The goal is to notice when those feelings are quietly taking the steering wheel, because fear can look like procrastination, loneliness can look like attachment, insecurity can look like arrogance, hurt can look like independence, and avoidance can look like a perfectly normal life. So maybe the question isn't simply, what do I want? Maybe sometimes you need to ask, what am I afraid I will feel if I don't get what I want? Because the answer might explain more about your life than you expect. If this made you think about a decision you've been making lately, leave a comment. What feeling do you think you've been avoiding? And if you want more conversations about the parts of life we usually don't talk about, subscribe to the Becoming Journey. I will see you soon.